So active listings in Sarasota County dropped 27% in 1 year, not 2.7%, 27. So that means if you were a buyer here last April, you had over 1,000 more homes to choose from than you do right now. So that's the market you're walking into. And I want to make sure you understand exactly what that means before you start your search. My name is Eugene Fulton. I'm a Southwest Florida real estate agent who works primarily with buyers from relocating out of the state. So today we're going to break down Sarasota County numbers for April 2026, what's happening with the supply, what's happening with prices and how fast things are moving, and most importantly, what this data actually means if you're thinking about making a move here. And I primarily do Charlotte County. I do some Sarasota County. I tend to have buyers that look in the Northport, Venice, and Inglewood area, which is Sarasota County. So I try to make sure they know what's going on in that market as well. So let's get into it. All right, so let's start with inventory because that's the story right now. So currently we're looking at over 3,200 active listings in Sarasota County as of April 2026. That sounds like a lot until you realize about a year ago, there were 4,400 active listings. That's 1,100 fewer homes that's available right now. So that's down 27%. But at the same time, new listings coming onto the market dropped 12% year over year. So sellers are listing less and buyers are competing over what's left. So here's the number I keep coming back to. The months of supply. That's a real estate measure. It tells you how long it would take to sell all the current inventory if nothing new came on the market. And right now we're sitting at about 4.7 months in Sarasota. So that is a balanced market where buyers and sellers have roughly equal footing. It's generally considered around 5.5 months. So we're below that, and we've been trending that way down since about February. So now new pending sales have jumped over 17% year over year. 874 homes went under contract in April alone. Buyers are moving. The ones who are prepared are the ones that are getting homes. The ones who aren't are just watching from the sidelines. Okay, so now let's get into pricing, right? So two numbers here that tell a very different story depending on where in the market you're looking. So if you take a look at the median sale price, that's the middle of the market. So that came in at $490,000. That's up about 4.3% from last year. It's steady, but it's not shocking. The average sales price hits in at around $814,000. That's up 25% year to year. So when the average is much higher than the median, it tells you one thing. The upper end of the market, meaning the luxury homes, waterfront, and high-end product, is selling very actively and it's pulling up that average. So basically, if you're shopping in the 400s and the 500s, you're in a different environment than somebody who's shopping at 1.2 million or above. So you have to know which market you're in. And so on the question of wiggle room, sellers are getting about 94.3 cents on every dollar of the original list price. So that's actually up slightly from last year. So what that means practically, sellers are pricing with confidence and buyers aren't seeing too big of a discount. That said, it's not 100%, so you still do have negotiating room, especially on homes that's been sitting on the market for a while. So as we look at the total dollar volume for April, $671 million. It's up 26% from a year ago. That's a lot of money moving through that Sarasota market right now. And how fast are the homes moving in Sarasota? So the median time to contract, which means the time from when the home lists to when it goes under agreement, is 46 days. That's actually improved. Back in February, they were sitting at 59 days. So the market is starting to accelerate through spring. And the median time to a full close is 86 days. So what that means is from the time the home is listed, that's your inspection period, finance and title work, everything. So your closed sales in April is 824. That's basically flat versus last year. It's up less than 1%, but we have to look at the pending side. 874 new pending contracts and total pending inventory sits in at over 1,100. Those are future closings still coming through the pipeline. And there is one more thing worth noting as well. Cash sales. 362 closings in April were all caps. That's 44% of the total. So if you're financing your purchase, you might want to recognize that you're competing with cash buyers on a regular basis. So that doesn't mean you can't win. It means that your pre-approval needs to be rock solid before you start making any offers on a property. So let's talk directly to anyone who's watching this from New York, New Jersey, or Illinois, because that's most of my clients, and I want to give you the honest version of what this actually means for you and your situation if you're looking at relocating out here. So the reality is this market is not forgiving of slow decision. This market is not forgiving of slow decision makers or weak preparation. When the inventory is down 27% and sales are up 17%, that math means that there are more buyers chasing fewer homes. You can't take 2 weeks to think about it. But here's what I also want you to hear too. You're not in a panic situation either. The median time to contract is 46 days. So homes aren't disappearing in 24 hours across the board. If you're prepared and you know what you want, and if you're working with someone who can move when you need to move, there's a real path here. And what does prepared look like? It means that you've already talked to a lender. You have a pre-approval letter in hand, not a pre-qualification. Two different things. It means you've done enough homework on areas like Venice, Northport, or downtown Sarasota, or maybe even the Inglewood corridor, to know which neighborhoods match your lifestyle and your insurance budget. And yes, flood zone always matters down here. I'll tell you the honest truth about every property on that front because it affects you, because it will affect what you pay for coverage every year. So if you're in the planning stage right now, whether you're moving in about 6 months or 18 months, you need to start having those conversations now. The buyers who struggle are the ones who show up to this market cold. I work specifically with buyers coming from out of state doing this type of relocation. It's all I do. So I know what you don't know yet, and I'm not going to sugarcoat the hard parts. Hopefully you found this helpful. If it was, please subscribe. I put out market updates every month, and I try to make them actually useful rather than just throwing numbers on a screen. There is a link in the description to book a free call with me. No pressure, no pitch at all to get you to sign up. Just a real conversation about your current situation and what that move looks like when you're ready. And even if you're early in the process, I've got a Southwest Florida relocation guide linked down there too. It covers your flood zones, insurance, and the airport questions, neighborhoods. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.